You laugh at someone for opposing genocide? Let me explain. Last week, the pro-Palestinian activist Zev Saltiel spoke at a meeting of borough mayors and councillors from across the island. Specifically, he wanted to ask Montreal Mayor Soraya Martinez Ferrada if she would support a motion for the city to boycott suppliers connected to the Netanyahu regime in Israel. Saltiel spoke about the new death penalty law in Israel that only applies to Palestinians and other examples of how Israel is an apartheid state, at least according to the United Nations, Oxfam, Doctors Without Border, B'Tselem, and every major human rights organization in the world. I spoke to Saltiel afterwards, who told me that during his question, the mayor of Côte Saint-Luc started laughing at him.
One of your councilmen laughed at me while I was asking my question.
For once, I hope that you feel respected in this council.
He's still laughing, ma'am. He's still laughing.
Now, we've reached out to David Torgman. He's the mayor of Côte Saint-Luc. He's the man who allegedly laughed at Zev. He hasn't gotten back to us. But Zev was unequivocal when I spoke to him, saying, look, he smiled at me, he laughed at me, he thought it was a funny joke. Here's some important context. Zev Saltiel is Jewish. He belongs to a group called Jewish Voices for Peace, Independent Jewish Voices, but he is in favor of Palestinian statehood and a country where Palestinians aren't systematically repressed. David Torgman is also Jewish, and in his campaigning, he has cited a rise in anti-Semitism since October 7th, a feeling of unease in the community. But that perspective, David Torgman's perspective, often negates the perspective of the growing number of young Jewish Montrealers who are not down with the Zionist project. When she was approached about whether or not to boycott Israeli contractors, Soraya Martinez Ferrada basically said, look, it's none of my business, I'm staying out of it. Neutrality in the face of injustice will always side with the oppressor. And the problem is, a lot of Canada's political class is either neutral or will only very gently condemn Israel and then back off, at a time when a vast majority of Canadians are against what's happening in Gaza and in Iran. The latest poll by Leger shows that only 22% of Canadians have a favorable view of Israel. Previous polls show that a majority of Canadians think that a genocide is ongoing in Gaza. So when you laugh at someone like Zev Saltiel and you treat them like they are saying something ridiculous, like they should be outright dismissed, then you are laughing at the majority of Canadians. And you are espousing an increasingly fringe political view, which is that Israel should be allowed to do whatever it wants, and that any notion to the contrary is going to be conflated with anti-Semitism. To the mayor's credit, she encouraged Zev to file a complaint, and she said she wants him to feel respected. But this whole notion of being neutral in the face of what's happening or not wanting to get involved, that's a little too late for that.